This was before everybody was doing the social media and everything. If you wanted to find out what was going on in entertainment outside of what everybody's publicist was feeding you, you would go to Media Takeout. And this is the guy that's responsible for it right here. If you ever wondered who it was, it's Fred. And you see his name down there. Fred, pronounce your last name.
The name is Mwanga Gahunga.
That's a lot. You see, it's easy when you say Mwanga Gahunga.
Yeah. There you go.
And that's why they say Fred M.
yeah, you're right.
So Fred, the first question that came to mind, man, I was wondering, what was it like? Media Takeout still exists for people who don't know. Fred's still doing his thing. Since you had the lead on all of this before the social media really kicked in heavy, what made you decide not to just be the person who continued that more on social media? Because you easily had the inside track on everything. You easily could have been the source on Instagram, Twitter, and all of that. What made you say, I'm gonna stick to my current digital platform?
Well, I think, the initial response to people that had existing media companies was to do just that, to just kind of like go take your media brand. Social media was new at the time. Take all your content and put it on social media. We resisted that because the problem is you don't own the social media platform. So I know a lot of people talk about, I own my page, I own my channel. You don't own the channel. You could read YouTube's or Facebook's or Instagram's terms of service. You don't own it. They allow you to be on their platform. And by allowing you to be on their platform, they control a bunch of things. One, they can control your audience, right? Like, so you don't own the audience. It's their audience that they're allowing you to put your content in front of. And the second thing is they control the advertising, right? Like you can post ads on your page. They can decide whether or not your audience actually views those ads. So I just view that as just being too much control to give up as an existing media company. And so most of our competitors did just that. They decided to go heavily on social media. And I can tell you that the majority of our competitors regret that decision. And they look back at what we did is actually refusing to go on social media. Or not refusing to go on social media, but not putting all of our content on social media.
Right.
It's actually being the smart business decision. I mean, when we, 15 years ago when social media first started popping up, we were getting somewhere around 25 million people a month on the site. Now today in 2025, we're getting about 30 million people on the site every month. So our audience has actually grown over the course of social media, despite not actually becoming an Instagram channel or something like that. That's a totally different analysis for people that have existing media companies, for people that are starting up a media company.
Right.
So if you're in your home right now and you're saying, hey, I want to start a media company, absolutely start it on social media. That's probably the best way to get your audience. We were just in a different boat.
So basically you're saying, why would I want to sharecrop if I already have my own field?
Yeah, we own our audience, we own our URL, we own it, right? Like nobody's going to take down our page, it's ours. So it's important to own. I know a lot of people talk about owning right now, and it's really important.
Hi, this is Fred Mwanga Gahunga. I got it right?
You did.
Oh, perfect, man. Media Takeout, and a lot of people who there's a large audience of people who probably see this that might not even remember Media Takeout and didn't know it existed because they're more of the social media age. How did you get your stuff, man? Like, how did you get all of that information? That you had to either have a large team or a large network of people who say, you know what, get it to Fred, he'll get this message out for us.
Yeah, I mean, we did. We had a large team and we had a large network of people. I mean, remember, we've been around for so long. We had been, like, a lot of times some of the biggest stars that you see today, they started out as like readers of Media Takeout. And they started out by saying, hey, reaching out to us, hey, we want to get our stuff publicized. Hey, I got a new video, could you publicize it, right? Like, so we built relationships with a lot of celebrities as they were growing up. And then once they became kind of larger than life celebrities, a lot of times we had those relationships. Those were years long relationships. And so they'd tell us stuff, right? Like, they wouldn't necessarily tell us their business, but they might tell us, they were in the room when something happened, and they'd tell us. They'd say, hey, look, I was backstage at the Grammys. This is what popped off, right? Like, you'd be surprised at who's over there giving us the information on that stuff, right? And sometimes people be like, who could have told? It was only, 6 or 7 celebrities in the room. One of them had to tell, and you're right, one of them did tell. So we built relationships over the years, and we have, like I said, we have long-standing relationships with a lot of the artists or the teams that you see today.
All right, there are a lot of, like you were speaking on a little earlier, there are a lot of people who want to start media companies, and they are not forced, but it's a lot easier for them to go the social media route. The only thing that they're lacking are the connections to these people, or letting people know, hey, I'd love to have your content on my platform. Last month was Black Business Month. Every day is Black Business Day.
Right.
What's the biggest piece of advice that you would give to somebody who wants to get into media? As far as what it is you do, reporting what's going on, behind the scenes.
What I'd say make sure that you actually love it. Now, a lot of people love it, so that might not be a big bar. But I think a lot of times, especially these days, you have people that are always looking for like a quick flip or like a hustle. Right?
Yes.
And a quick flip and a hustle is something that you can make a little bit of money out of it right now. But if you go after and you invest, you're investing a lot of time, you're investing a lot of effort. Invest your time and effort in something that you actually really care about, you really love. And so when you're at work, when you're struggling, when you're, staying up late at night or dealing with the problems that you'll have running a business, you're actually doing something that you love. And the best way to tell it is kind of on your day off, would you still be doing this?
Yeah.
Right. And if your answer is no, then, you probably don't really love what you're doing. You're just doing it because you think it's a good way to make money. And so a lot of times people will see it. People see me, people see, other people on Instagram or on TikTok, and they're blowing up and say, I really want to do that. But you don't see the behind the scenes, like how difficult it is to create content consistently, right? To build up a staff and the stuff that goes along with that, right? Like figuring out how to monetize it effectively.
Right.
If you're on social media, how to keep your page up, how to keep your stuff in the algorithm, or, so there's a lot of different things. It's a lot of work, and it doesn't look like it. It looks like the person's just on there, just like, talking or, just posting up stuff, but they're spending a lot of time doing it. And, what you'll find if you start doing it is you'll quickly realize how much work it takes. And then a lot of times people drop out because they're like, it's just not worth it.
This is too much like work.
Yeah. And if it's work, right? Like that's the whole purpose of this, right? Like you're doing this so that you don't have to go to work. You don't have to go to a job that you hate. So, life is short, and, you should really just go after what you really want to do. And I think if you do whatever it is that you really want to do, I think if you go all in, you'll have a good chance to really succeed and get the fulfillment, both financially and otherwise, that you want out of life.
All right, and the final question, because I'm sure it's happened and we might not have, we just didn't have access to it. Man, has anybody ever just run up on you because you put something on your page and they were like, bro, why? What was that?
Yeah, it doesn't happen that much, but the good thing is, one of the things that we decided is we're never going to report anything that's going to get anybody locked up, and we're never going to report anything that's going to mess up your money, right? So once if you take those two things, you're not trying to get anybody locked up, you're not trying to mess up anybody's money, then whatever they're saying to you it's not real serious, right? Like they might be upset about things, but they're not that upset, right? Like you're not doing something to them that they feel like they got to go over there.
It's an ego thing at that point,
right? And sometimes it's all in fun. The thing about it, what you learn is, especially in my position, so sometimes a lot of times people say, well, wow, celebrities actually like you. Yeah, they love me. And my phone is ringing off the hook. I get invited to absolutely all kinds of things. I don't go to a lot of them anymore, because what you realize is they need you 90% of the time. And then 10% of the time you're reporting on their business and then they're really upset with you, right? Like, so that's the nature of your relationship. Your nature of your relationship, it's almost like a dysfunctional girlfriend-boyfriend relationship, right? Like you love them, you hate them, you love them, you hate them, right? Like that's how our relationships are. So even when people are upset with me, it's usually followed by, a week later, a phone call saying, hey, sorry about that. Hey, I got this new thing that I need to promote, right? Like, put this out, right? So it's never that serious. Like I said, I think so long as you don't take yourself too seriously, you don't really try and destroy anyone's career or their lives, it's all kind of, it's never anything serious. Sometimes it's a phone call or whatever, but that's about it.
They'll get over it.
Yeah, they always do. Like I said, I'm the most popular person in most rooms that I walk into.
So this is what we need you to do. Make sure that if you haven't been there in a while, revisit MediaTakeout.com. If you've never been there, here's your opportunity to be introduced to it. Fred Mwangahanga, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you finally telling me how to pronounce your last name properly.
That's important, right?
Very important. Look, well, either that, second important to making sure you sign the check right.
That's right. That's always the most important thing, right?